With West Virginia securing another commitment from one of their top targets, it's time for another transfer portal update here on the Country Roads webcast. Let's go. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Jordan Cruz back here with Country Roads webcast. And before we get into this video, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. If you would do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Giving us a like on this video will really help not only its performance, but future videos performances here on the channel as well. And if you're a West Virginia fan and you haven't already, be sure hit that subscribe button. Helps us and it helps you, as it helps get more of this Mountaineer sports content out to Mountaineer Nation. Having said that, let's get into it. All right, as stated in the cold open, another top transfer target for West Virginia chooses the Mountaineers, and you may have heard about this one. West Virginia has landed the services of Xavier Bosley, a former South Charleston native there originally, so a 304 guy coming back home to the state of West Virginia here, and also previously this past season played at Jacksonville State for another guy that has, of course, West Virginia ties, Rick Trickett, the offensive line coach there, and we know Coach Rich Rodriguez, the head coach of Jacksonville State that he played for there as well, and a freshman All-American. So very highly regarded tackle that West Virginia is getting here through the transfer portal. Great size as well, 6'5", 300-plus pounds. As you see here, detailed over on WVSportsNow.com, as they do a great job covering this transfer news, and someone else who's done a great job covering the transfer news that I've, of course, got to shout out, and that's Mountaineer Paul. He was the first one to break the news of Xavier Bosley's commitment with Xavier Bosley's permission there, broke it on X, and was really glad to see Mountaineer Paul do that and wanted to shout him out for being able to do that. As Mike does here in the article, Bosley initially informed content creator Mountaineer Paul about his decision and gave him permission to break the news. He then posted a video and then would later as well post a commitment graphic, which I'll show you his commitment graphic. And if Mountaineer Nation, if you guys want to follow him on Twitter, you can there, X, whatever you want to call it now, at Bosley Xavier. And you can see here his commitment graphic that he shared on X when he announced his commitment to the Mountaineers earlier today, the kind of impetus for our January 7th transfer portal update here on the Country Roads webcast. But having said that, let's pull the article back up here and I can show you guys. As I said, they're 6'5", 315 pounds, started all 12 games for Jacksonville State, and Jacksonville State was a team that was very prolific in running the football, and he was a big part of that, setting the edge on the right side for them. We know West Virginia is replacing Doug Nestor at right tackle. They bring in Nick Malone back, but now they also add Xavier Bosley there, and I would argue that with Wyatt Milam on one side and Bosley on the other, the outside zone could be even more effective for West Virginia than it was this season, and it was super effective already this season. But as you see, Bosley over 900 snaps, all conference honors, freshman All-American honors as well. Originally played at South Charleston High School, as I mentioned there. So not only a fit for what West Virginia does offensively, but also a fit for us as he is an in-state native. Done a great job landing some of those in-state players, not only out of high school, but also via transfer. You look at Doug Nestor, the previous right tackle, got him that way, and looks like may get Bosley, the could be current right tackle, in the same manner as well via transfer, getting him to come back home to his home state and play for the Mountaineers. And he has 3 years of eligibility remaining. That's something that should get you excited as well. Could be here as a mainstay for the Mountaineers as one of the starting tackles on that offensive line for quite some time. So West Virginia adds Xavier Bosley as the latest transfer in. You guys knew that he was on a visit here if you've been following our transfer portal updates throughout the offseason here on the Country Roads webcast. And if you've been doing that, you're also familiar with our transfer portal tracker. So let's pull that up now, and we can add Xavier Bosley's name to the transfer in list there on the tracker. And I want to talk a little bit about some other guys that are visiting the Mountaineers that we need to be on commit watch for as well when we're talking some other transfer targets. All right, and as I pull up the transfer portal tracker here, I'll scroll through it. You see West Virginia's list of transfers out there, and of course, the transfers in list. Most recent addition just did an update on TJ Jackson joining the Mountaineers as what had been the most recent transfer commit until today, when we get the commitment of Xavier Bosley, who we can now take from a transfer target and move his name up to join that transfer in list for the Mountaineers, becoming the 8th transfer to already commit to the Mountaineers this offseason. We now add Xavier Bosley, an offensive lineman from Jacksonville State, to the transfer in list there, where he joins most recent defensive lineman TJ Jackson from Troy there. And I'm super excited about the pickup of Xavier Bosley. I was talking a little bit about West Virginia's tackles there. And if you look at West Virginia's run grades on PFF this season, they ran outside zone a lot to the left. And that is, not a knock on Doug Nestor or the right tackles or anything. Wyatt Milam was just so good run blocking and setting the edge for that outside zone going left. West Virginia had a lot of success with it. And I think when you look at what Xavier Bosley did, if you go look at his run grades, he was very successful doing similar things for Jacksonville State. We know he'll have the great mentality being coached by Rick Trickett on that offensive line. So I think now West Virginia can really keep defenses guessing. You're not going to know if West Virginia's running left or right. They can run the outside zone either way, probably with similar success now with Bosley on the other side of Milam. This is going to be great things for West Virginia's offensive line in 2024 and our run game, which we had great success with already this season. Hopefully that just adds to that. So super excited about this pickup for West Virginia's offensive line. And when we look at the rest of the transfer portal target list, I wanted to take a minute and mention this. Have cleared it out of some guys that have committed elsewhere. You see it's kind of getting down to the nitty gritty now. West Virginia getting to the point where they're, bringing in guys that they're hoping to take here as the semester is getting ready to begin. We just brought in Xavier Bosley and TJ Jackson. You knew they had visited the Mountaineers recently. You also know that Elijah Hills also recently visited WVU, talked about that one in the past. And then wanted to talk about these three defensive backs. I think on the last update, we talked about Jaden Voisin and Kobe Singleton. Both would be good pickups. Kobe Singleton, All-American corner. Jaden Voisin, one of the very top transfers in the portal, especially at the safety position. Super high grades. That would be an excellent pickup for West Virginia. Both of those guys on visits to WVU. And we have since learned as well that Taj Rael, a safety from Old Dominion, also visiting WVU. Great size, 6'2", 200 pounds. Put up good numbers there at Old Dominion as well. So another transfer that's looking at the Mountaineers. We have these three defensive backs visiting WVU to go along with the other players that have already visited, Elijah Hills, and of course the two most recent commits, TJ Jackson, and the impetus for this video, Xavier Bosley. So if you're looking for someone to be on commit watch for, watch out for these three defensive backs. They are visiting Morgantown. So, once West Virginia gets players on campus, you always got to have them on commit watch there at that time. And West Virginia is looking to add some players to the secondary. So look out for Voisin, Singleton, and Rael. News on those in the near future. And if anything comes out on those, we'll put out another transfer portal update here on the CRW, just like we did here for the commitment of Xavier Bosley. And it's one that I'm super excited about. So that's how I'm feeling, Mountaineer Nation, but would love to hear the way that you're feeling about this edition of Xavier Bosley or any of these other potential targets that could join the Mountaineers. Be sure, let me know your thoughts down there in the comments. Really appreciate those interactions as we continue to try and grow the Country Roads webcast community throughout Mountaineer Nation. Having said that, that will wrap us up here for our January 7th transfer portal update. And until next time, let's go Mountaineers.